blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding and making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.
A chemical spill contaminating the water supply in 9 West Virginia counties.
This year alone, over 300,000 people in West Virginia had their drinking water contaminated.
What are the health effects of having these drugs in our drinking water?
It's forced medical treatment without the consent of residents.
My friends, water filtration is one of the most basic actions you can take to protect you and your family from the harmful toxins and heavy metals in your tap water.
On average, the county says it sprays with the glyphosate at least once a week.
Few filters cut out the glyphosate that is found in water supplies worldwide. Remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hexafluorosilicate.
Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste.
It is our responsibility to protect our families. The establishment's not going to do it. It's time to take action. It's time to filter our water. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and use promo code WATER to get 10% off their entire family of incredible products. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
We are on the march. The Empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Miley Cyrus, in a CIA PSYOP, it's all staged, has come out and said that gays should rape straights to force them into doing it because, quote, everyone is gay. Now, if anyone else said that, they would probably be arrested because that is a call for criminal action. That's not free speech. I get she can claim it's tongue-in-cheek, so whatever. And again, I'm not here judging people. This is not my ball of wax. It's not my dog in the fight, the issue of people and their sexual issues. But the system is politicizing it as a litmus test to fire Christian broadcasters who have shows that they don't even talk about being Christian on the show. They just go, oh, you're a Christian? It's the new blacklist, you're fired. You know, that was happening last week with a cooking channel, Two Brothers, when we covered that on Friday. It's that it's authoritarian, that it's not tolerant of other people who want to have their own views, you see. A free society means that you're tolerant, but you don't have to adopt, and you've got your free speech. Then you don't get shut down for your free speech, see? But the so-called left is incredibly draconian and wants to fire or worse. There was an article last week that was confirmed where a major university professor, what was it, Dartmouth, said, I will kill anybody that's in the Tea Party. Get out of my class, I'm going to kill you. And I'm not going to give you good grades if you're a Tea Party person. This is the culture of intimidation. That's the opposite of liberal. Thomas Jefferson was a liberal, as I say. Obama is not. Hillary is not. They're authoritarian kleptocrats. Now, speaking of kleptocrats, meaning a state of theft, to translate that, if you look at this, I want to open the phones up and get your take. You know, we've gotten a lot of calls from Mexico before. When I give the number out, you've got to dial your country code, or if you're a Mexican citizen in the U.S. visiting, or if you've got family in Mexico, I'd like to open the phones up for those people specifically, or if you've been in the U.S. military and drug interdiction operations down there, or the Mexican military. I would love to hear from you about your view of now. It started in one state 5 years ago. It's now in 6 states, more than half of Mexico. farmers and ranchers and others that were being harassed and killed and tortured and robbed by the cartels that, again, are the Mexican army dressed up like cartels. That's all it is. You know, like the guy at the Daily Planet is Clark Kent by day and Superman by night. Well, they're army soldiers by day, and then they're cartel people by night. I mean, that's what's going on. That's confirmed. The Mexican Marines are not as corrupt, and they're being used because the Mexican government understands they've gotten so corrupt they're now collapsing. And that's what's going to happen here in the U.S. So here's the headline, but I want your take on it. Here's the international number. Dial your country code, and then 512-646-1776. 512-646-1776. Again, 512-646-1776. Nothing but open phones the next hour on this and some other subjects. The general line for folks in the U.S. that are Mexican citizens but have a view on this, or anybody that's got any other points on this, 877-789-2539, 877-789-2539. We got one person to take the calls. Literally hundreds of calls come in when this happens. So just wait. If you get put on hold, they're going to get to you. So again, 877-789-ALEX is the general number. Now, let me just go over the AP article here for you just to break this down, how big this is. If you just joined us, Mexico's moving towards a Second Amendment for the general public, admitting that's the only thing that delivers peace and security. That is such a big deal. After collapse of their tourist industry, after the State Department put them on a dangerous list 5 years ago, after 70,000 dead the last 6 years that we know of, they're finding mass graves all the time, men, women, and children, after a reign of terror, because only government and organized crime had guns. The guns from the U.S. that they're able to get because of the porous border, there's always a silver lining in any problem, they are now able to defend themselves, and crime rates are dropping in every region that's admitted in these articles where the, quote, vigilantes are operating. So the government says, come in and get registered and then be under one of our commanders, and then we'll let you keep operating. Well, they're not doing it. This first article's from last night. New articles out today, they didn't show up to register their guns. They said, we know you're really the drug cartel. We'll work maybe with the Navy, we'll work maybe with the governor if they're not corrupt, but we can't let you have intel of how we're operating. Because imagine a bunch of actual hardworking farmers and ranchers up against a bunch of drug dealers that just want to torture and cut heads off to scare everybody. Well, that goes two ways. They're not going to torture you or cut your head off. They're just going to kill you. And the cartel runs. The cartels put their tails between their legs and they run. And that's confirmed because it's just regular men, folks, that are ready to kill. And if you come in their town, they kill you. They're not scared. You already pushed them. You already dominated them. They've already been scared. They've already been used. They don't have a choice. They're desperate. And the way of the samurai is desperateness. 10 men cannot kill such a man, to quote one of the famous samurais I'm paraphrasing. And that's what it's all about. Liberty is desperate. Liberty's ready to fight. Liberty's not scared. Cowering. A nation of sheep will be ruled by what? Thomas Jefferson. A nation of sheep will be ruled by what? Wolves. A nation of men will build a civilization. And hell, we all know there's a bunch of men in Mexico. They're not wimps. So why are they such slaves? Because they need to take the power in their hands. Just like we've been slaves until we take the power into our hands. Liberty is not given, it is taken. Mexico to legalize vigilantes fighting drug cartel. Let me tell you, I go to these Second Amendment rallies, half the people at them. I don't care if it's in Chicago or New York or Florida or Texas, are Mexicans. That's good. Mexicans are ready to get 1776. They're ready. Look at them. The U.S. military wants them for war. How about war against tyranny? The globalists are desperate to create racial division and all this socialist garbage and anti-family trash with the Mexicans and Hispanics because they want to destroy them. Why do you think Miley Cyrus is out saying date rape everybody and all this? They don't. They're afraid of men. They're afraid of macho men. They're afraid of real men. They're afraid of male strength. True, healthy male power that will cleanse this country of all the cowardice and all the going along with everything. What did Rowdy Piper say on this show? It's time for men to stand up and say, we're done. Time to find some courage, boys. Well, that's what's happening, because you're going to find tyrants will push you to the point where you're forced to fight back. They'll never stop. They'll never give in. Cowering turns you into a slave. Mexico's government plans on Saturday, this was last night, it failed, they didn't do it, to begin demobilizing a vigilante movement of assault rifle-wielding ranchers and farmers that formed in the western state, I can always pronounce this, Michoacan, and succeeded in largely expelling the Knights Templar cartel when state and local authorities couldn't. Because they can't beat the people. They could kill the police chief, folks. You can't kill the men with guns. If they see you in their area, you're dead. What do you think happens if the U.S. citizens, the globalists, start a civil war, start picking people off, and the patriots just go out and start killing establishment people? They'll roll over in 5 minutes. We have the power. That's why they tell us all day they got the power, because they're scared of us. They don't have the power. They don't have jack crap, but they're cowardice. You understand that? We will pull 1776 on every one of them. It's organic. It's grassroots. It only strikes when attacked. It cannot be stopped. That's why the symbol is a rattlesnake. It isn't looking for trouble, and it warns you. But if you push it into a corner, it will attack. Continuing. Mexico's got a rattlesnake. Well, so does America. Its first flag was a rattlesnake. The same spirit if we take it in our hands. The ceremony, where the movement began in February 2013, will involve the registration of thousands of guns by the federal government and an arrangement that the so-called self-defense groups will either join a new official rural police force or return to their normal lives as acts of voluntary reserves when called on. The government will go town by town to organize and recruit the new rural forces. They all refuse. They're not stupid. They don't want a stupid uniform. They want their freedom. They want their dignity back. Here's the new article today. It goes on in this article from a few days ago to say nobody went along with it, and that the civilians built roadblocks, battled cartel members in towns, and defeated them. They call it the Tierra Caliente, or the hot land. Now let's continue here. Mexican vigilantes keep arms despite deadline. NPR. This just came out today. You know, the Rockefeller-run media, state-run media is very upset. None of them. The Mexicans didn't turn in a single gun. Mexico to transform anti-cartel vigilante forces. ABC News. Here's the deal. People want honor. People want duty. They want courage. All they had to do was realize they were cornered. All they had to do was realize it was their right and duty to stand up as men. Mexicans love to fight. Americans love to fight. Everybody loves to fight. Let's fight for a real cause in the info war. And if the globalists want to start a physical one, they will get it. You understand that? We will win. We have the power. We already have the U.S. military. The police are waking up. Nobody wants their kids to be slaves. The Republic worldwide, 1776 worldwide. Stay with us, second hour coming up. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table. And the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA. The new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.